So this talk that I want to give to you today, I've titled Uncomfortable Truth, but Irrational Faith and Belief. Okay. So my name is Louise. I'm a researcher, I'm an investor, I'm an entrepreneur myself, and I'm the chairman of the Heavy Chef Foundation, a not-for-profit that helps young disconnected entrepreneurs to gain access to entrepreneur learning. I'm also running an investment company to put our money where our mouths are, and also just started a research lab into education innovation called Wonder Class. And what I'd like to do today is share with you the story of Heavy Chef. And no, it's not a cooking show. I'm not a chef myself. Heavy Chef is an entrepreneur education initiative. But it all started in 2005. My two business partners, Fred and Mike, decided to start a digital marketing agency. It's because digital started becoming quite a big thing. So the word blogging started coming into the lexicon of people. And they decided at that stage, the best way to grow a creative agency, this is how the agency world worked, was to get a big name on the books. And as fate would have it, literally opposite our office was Ferrari South Africa. And as any good salesman does, they went on to knock on the door, and they met up with this gentleman, Reinhard Schwendinger, which, by the way, is the best surname I've ever heard of, is Schwendinger. So they started selling up a stall, started presenting to him newsletter strategies, blogging strategies, social media strategies, how they can help Ferrari South Africa become this big brand online in South Africa. And while they were presenting, Reinhard was sitting there actually typing away on his laptop. And it looked kind of rude because he was not making eye contact and any of that. Have any of you been in like conversations like that where you just like zero feedback coming from the person you're talking to? It's an uncomfortable position to be in. And when Fred and Mike ended their sales pitch to Reinhard flipped the computer around, and there the Worldwide Creative, that was the name of the agency, Worldwide Creative website was staring back at them. And Reinhard took this deep breath and he uttered these words, "I never trust a skinny chef." What of these things that you're selling to me are you applying on your own business? I'm not seeing a newsletter, I'm not seeing a blog. And he was 150% correct. So went back to the office, tails between the legs, suitably humbled, and Heavy Chef was born. We said we needed to become heavy chefs. And step one was to test the tools, taste test the tools. That's the one of a couple of food analogies that I'll throw into this talk today. To taste test the tools. So immediately we started and set up a blog, passionate about entrepreneurship. So we started Ideate. And you can see it was early 2000s because blog categories are a big thing that you see next to the side there. Ideate was to celebrate superheroes, entrepreneurial heroes specifically, and share stories on that. We also started learning to code. That's my business partner in all his glory, Fred. Started learning to code, started learning to design, even though we weren't designers or coders. Like we just started reading about it and testing it on each other. We had little internal competitions. We even started to invite a few other people that we saw or defined as heavy chefs, people that we thought were experts, to come and talk to us. We started becoming pretty good at doing these things, even to a degree that we started getting people to come and talk at our sessions, people like Gareth, Rich, Arthur Goldstuck, and launched a magazine, all those kind of things. But the fruit was, out of that process, is our company started growing. We started attracting big clients. At our biggest, we were 182 staff members. We started we literally worked with the Democratic Alliance, the ANC, with Desmond Tutu, with Zwelinzima Vavi, and Jay Naidu. So we were like the United Nations of marketing agencies. But times started changing, and come to 2015, we started realizing that the world was getting smarter, faster, smaller, weirder, angrier. And we wanted to, and obviously in our country, that really hit home. And we wanted to start doing things that was way beyond just digital marketing, so to speak. So come 2018, we converted Heavy Chef into a business of its own with the aim of to inspire people to start things and empower them to succeed. Specifically, we wanted to get heavy chefs from across the country to come and teach our community of entrepreneurs. And as it stands, we've got 23,000 entrepreneurs that we host regular sessions with. We wanted to create a lifestyle of learning for entrepreneurs because we felt that was the real issue that needed to be resolved. Our approach was simple. It was learn, do, and share, something that we applied ourselves and saw the fruits of. As it stands, we started like Heavy Chef has partnered with Global Citizen. We had Thabo Mbeki to come and talk at one of our sessions. Cyril Ramaphosa is coming end of this year to come and talk to our community of entrepreneurs. We started building a team, but excitingly enough, we started moving away from Sandton and from just the CBDs and from the V&A waterfront into Khayelitsha, into Diepsloot, and into Alex. We got people like DJ Spoo, people like Masachaba and Lovu to come and talk and share their lessons with those communities. And with that, we started to decide, well, we need to launch a foundation to help us gain access into those spaces specifically. And our first step was to publish this book, The Heavy Chef Guide to Starting a Business in South Africa. The first of a couple of other books. The next book is that's coming out. It's Heavy Chef Guide to Finance for Startups. But the aim of this was, again, to provide access to learning that is written or provided or hosted by heavy chefs, people who are doers, not just talkers or tweeters. We wanted to do something that's accessible and anecdotal, and that is nuts and bolts. That isn't just theory-based as such. And we're growing quite fast. We're investing in technologies now to build out a platform that makes our learning more accessible. But to end things off, I wanted to share with you some lessons that we've learned. And there's 1,000,001 lessons that an entrepreneur can learn. But specifically to us, these are the lessons that stood out. And you know, I hope it inspires you, at least empowers you or resonates with you in some degree. I've broadly categorized it into 3 things: habits, tools, and team. Ultimately, any business begins and ends with the entrepreneur, so you need to look after yourself as an individual. Things that we've done quite heavily was look at our own personal health, okay? Exercise, food, mental health. We needed to be sharp in the way that we deliver. The life of an entrepreneur is stressful. It's long hours. It is financial stress, all those kind of things. Those are the uncomfortable truths. Your ability to navigate that is directly linked to your ability to look after yourself physically and mentally. Clear thinking was a very important part of this. In fact, we would journal every morning to ourselves our own experiences and things, not to share with anyone else. It's just writing is the technology for clear thinking. The second one was the tools. It is expensive to start a business in South Africa, and it takes a long time, but the tools are very accessible. Our whole business is built on Google Suite, on Squarespace, on Xero, and Slack as a collaboration a tool. I'd encourage you to look at all those different tools, and that is the good news. The tools are accessible and it's relatively cheap as well. And lastly, from a team point of view, is be clear about the values that you have. We were clear about the values that we stood for and the type of people we want to attract. Diversity was a big part of our focus, not just in terms of skin color, but actually in terms of character and personality traits and backgrounds as well. And the last point is a jack of all trades, master of some. When we started at a startup level, started recruiting people, building our team, we were looking for jack of all trades people, but with a master of some attitude, some area of speciality, but they can adapt to different kind of things. So as a last action point and a challenge to you guys, is feel free to go to heavychef.com, engage with some of the learning experiences that are on offer. They're going to be made available as online courses as well, but for the most part, it's offline. But my challenge to you is one thing, and something that has helped us a lot. I mentioned about the writing and the journaling that we've done. I want to challenge each of you, starting tomorrow, just for 7 days, just from Friday to Thursday, every morning, Just write about your experience of starting. Don't share it with anyone else. Pen on paper, just write freehand. And if you're writing nonsense, write nonsense. If you want to swear, swear. You're not going to show it to anyone else. And next week, Friday, just reflect on those pages. Just read them and just go through them and be aware of your thought process and the things that you've experienced to date. It's an easy starting point. We're not here to change the world, to change education, change entrepreneurship. Focus on one specific thing and start building a habit of that specific thing and move from there. And that's it from my side. Thank you.